All right, welcome into the Aggie podcast. I'm Isaac Draxler, your host. I wanted to cover a couple things real quick. It's been a little while, and in the future we want to record some more podcasts. Both me and Brian together, and kind of previewing the season, some different things like that. But wanted to cover the offensive line today because there is some belief or some people saying out there that the offensive line is maybe the question mark of the season, whether you want to call the offensive line not deep or low on numbers. There's different debates out there, right? One of the things that I want to talk about today is that depth or those options, I guess, at offensive line. Also, one thing that we've asked on Twitter a few times, what do you want to see as far as Aggie coverage? What do you think is missing in the Aggie coverage? Definitely hit us up on Twitter. Follow us on your favorite podcasting platforms. Give us a review, 5-star review, make comments, whatever the case may be. Let us know what you're looking for, what you like. I know in the past I've had a lot of feedback that we need more podcasts. People want to listen to podcasts. There's definitely a lot of outlets out there that churn the story or the daily interview from from practice. Obviously, the Utah State SID office sends those out, and it's easy to find those, either videos or audio or written articles. That's not something that we want to focus on. Also, a quick plug for Brian Phillips and his content. You can go to bigblueusuaggienews.com. It's a long website, but once you put it in there the first time or click on it from Brian's Twitter, you'll have it saved. You'll be able to get back there. You don't have to put it in every time. So Big Blue USU Aggie News, check it out. That is one of the things that I think you'll see some unique content, some interesting content, and some different things than you would normally get other places. I believe Brian will continue to update some of his most popular content, like where are the scholarships going, and keeping track of scholarships, not only scholarships, but also depth charts, things like that. That was one of the most popular articles and popular things on the 24/7 website, which we're no longer a part of. And so go to that website, listen to this podcast, let us know what you want to see, what you're looking for, and we'll do our best to bring that to you. Also, there's a few links. I'll continue to send them out, ways that you can support the podcast and ways that we can increase the coverage, increase the away games that we attend, things like that. So you don't even have to, pay a fee for the content, anything like that. Just support some of our partnerships as far as Rakuten. There's a credit card link. There's different things like that you can support that helps with this podcast. So go check that out. So getting into the offensive line, in the debate, I guess, as far as how much depth there's obviously there were definitely guys that left in the offseason that would have been in the too deep depth chart for sure. So that's unfortunate. I think the numbers are down, no doubt. I think the offensive line is a position that you want as many guys as possible, and you want a mix of guys. You don't want all you don't want all seniors. You don't want all freshmen. You want a good mix of guys, and that's why consistently they're always recruiting and signing and getting commitments from offensive linemen. But one of the things that I want to talk about, because this is a guy that I've been watching for a long, long time, since high school, Chandler Dolphin has really stepped up into that starting center position. And that's really exciting. That's really awesome to see, in my opinion, because that moves a guy like Allo to backing up, who is still a freshman. He played pretty well for a freshman last year, no doubt. But I think that's a better sign, I guess you could say, is if he can continue to develop as a backup and really push Chandler Dolphin for that position. That's great. Dimitri Alifua has been a starting center in the past, starting guard in the past as well. So he's a guy that's going to most likely start at one of those interior positions. So that adds to some of the depth. And then White has also been starting. You've got a guy that probably in Mason Knight, probably a guy that could play tackle or guard or kind of be a depth guy as well. And then the two starting tackles, Alfred Edwards and Jacob South, they started last year and have a lot of experience. So really those 6 guys have a lot of experience as transfers or here at Utah State. Really throw in Allo from last year. That's 7 guys. Probably the next guy would probably be Owens or Bowles or Meacham, somebody like that can come in as well. And then the other guys are, a junior college guy. Some other younger guys that, obviously if they jump up and have to play, then maybe they could do well, or maybe you start worrying at that point. I'm not sure, but for what it's worth, you don't need, obviously 10 guys that are you're not going to have 10 guys. No team has 10 offensive linemen that have great experience or that have played in the past. It just doesn't happen. So to a certain extent, that's just the way college football works. But the numbers are definitely down, which should change over the next couple of years. The transfer portal is a place that this staff is definitely gonna use to fill in some of those gaps, and they have already used. They'll continue to use those the next few years. Recruiting has been great at the offensive line position. So those are, and one of the Miguel brothers is an offensive lineman as well. So I didn't mention that, but that's just one more guy that they can bring in, develop, get some experience. If any of those guys play this year, some of those freshmen and sophomore, if they play less than 4 games or 4 or less games, they can count this as a redshirt. So some of these guys are going to be 6th-year seniors and different things like that. When they start playing, we're going to see them for multiple years. So it'll be really interesting to see, not only with the Aggies, but other programs as well. Having all this experience will be great for the development and depth. So that's kind of my comments on the offensive line. Hoping that first scrimmage wasn't I guess how the offensive line is going to look this year. I'm sure most people came away from that first scrimmage saying, man, the offensive line doesn't look too great. I think that changed a little bit in scrimmage number 2. and hopefully will continue to change as well. One of the things that will make a huge difference, and one of the things that I wanted to cover as well, is starting quarterbacks. So I think they're going to hold that close to their vest, and really for good reason. One, Peasley can definitely come in and play, even if Bonner's the starter in certain packages. I think there are, reasons for not naming a starter necessarily. So I wouldn't panic about that or worry about that. If I was, for those Aggie fans out there, definitely will be interesting to see. Obviously, on the day of the Washington State game, we're going to see somebody run out there and start the game. But Peasley is definitely the high ceiling risk reward option, and I think Logan Bonner is definitely the steady, experienced get the ball in his the playmaker's hands and let them make plays. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think there's any guarantee that Bonner will be the starter or Peasley will be the starter. That could change in the next couple weeks. So we'll keep you in touch. Like I say, that's something I want to talk to Brian about on one of our next podcasts and see what his opinion is. But I think it will, I think either way, they both bring their strengths and weaknesses. I think everybody knows that Peasley has looked good at times and has some strengths that maybe Bonner doesn't. So no doubt about that. It'll be interesting to watch. So thanks for listening. Like I say, let us know what you're looking for, what kind of coverage you want on Twitter is probably the easiest way. Aggie Up on Twitter. Let us know what you think and what you're looking for, and keep listening. Subscribe, give us a review. We really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. See ya.